Baja California. That's where I was taken, deep in Baja California,
Okay,
in the
Baja.
canyons.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I
But
know the area. Okay, all right. So then, all right, and so there's a lot here. Witches, warlocks, aliens, so demons. Are they all working together? Then you think is that what's happening here?
I don't know. They work together because they're all what I've seen. They work separate, and what I when like 2012 or certain days that there's supposed to happen supernatural things. I don't know how to explain you, but like super saiyan powers or more power for them powers, and then I came across this girl. I met her, and she like was hanging out with me and told me to turn around, and I happened to see a big ass 30-foot demon, and I destroyed it. And she was like, "Who are you?" And I told her, "I don't know. I'm still wondering what's in the world's going on with me." And then we went out into space and we were running around, and then we came back, and she was so scared because the time it changed back to three times after I destroyed the demon, and then there was something over my body holding me, and she had to help me to get rid of it. It was like a bad aura around me holding me, and then it got destroyed, and then time started three times that day. So instead of ending the world, it started three times.
Okay, yeah, that seems like some heavy stuff. So, all right,
Yeah.
all right. So real quick before I let you go, what kind of training did you receive that allowed you to fight these demons and fight the horsemen
It was
and witches and
spiritual.
warlocks?
It was mostly spiritual and mental training, and it was technical, and telekinesis.
Okay, can you move things with your mind now?
Uh, just the door, I could open it and close it. But when my powers are amped up to the max, I could turn on the cars, turn on phones. I could do a lot of things. There's certain days. It's not every day. There's certain days, and I could like tell like there's something present or evil or something like that. And also, my mother just died, and she's been coming back and forth from heaven and seeing me. She's like, "Who are you, son?" And I keep on telling her, "I don't know. It just God gave me this power to, talk to dead people and see other things that I'm still wondering what's going on."
Okay, my condolences to your mother. If you're in good communication, that's a good thing. So, all right. So I'll say Aiden from California. I'm glad that you're on our side. I'm glad you're here to defeat the forces of darkness and do what you do. So, I
Yes.
appreciate the call. Just keep on keeping on, man. We need people like you around. All right.
Yeah. I'm a conservationist, so I'm a bioengineer and all that stuff.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank
All
you.
the better. All the better. I appreciate the call, Aiden from California. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. There's a lot there. That's a lot there. Do call back at some point because I want to get into what more of the training and what kind of stuff you can do. Thanks for the suggestion there with what kind of training and Larry. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, Aiden from California. So just like that, you can call and get on the show and. As simple as that. As simple as that. Okay. All right. So we're gonna keep on going. We got Tom DeLong to talk about. Still waiting for Paul on Discord. He said he's there and he's trying to get it figured out. And you'll call in shortly. Okay. So here we go. So if we got people trying to call, here's the thing. All right. So we've talked about this in the past, and so we're gonna kind of circle back for just a minute. And this is now we've gone a little bit taking our time a little bit too much. But here's the okay. So now let me set this up properly. So, if you recall, To the Stars Academy has those three videos: Go Fast, Gimbal, and the original Nimitz, which is called the FLIR video. And so they were the pilots that saw these things flying in the air and couldn't identify them. They were locked on with their forward looking infrared FLIR, and they were basically saying these things are UFOs. So To the Stars, Luis Elizondo got them declassified, let's say, and I'm not sure that's the case, but declassified, but for our consumption. But here we go. So let's watch these real quick, just to refresh on what we're talking about, and then we'll get into what this could be, because there's some new information that just came out where these might not be what they want us to think they are. Okay, so here we go. Here's the first one. This is the gimbal, the first official UAP footage from the USG for public release. And let's see what Microsoft Mike has to say about the video here before we watch it real quick, because this is hilarious and I love it. Action.
Gimbal is the first of 3 U.S. military videos of unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP, that has been through the official declassification review process of the United States government and has been approved for public release. This footage, and all official USG footage you will see on TDS Academy's Community of Interest, COI, comes with essential chain of custody documentation validating that it is received in its original and unaltered form and is authentic. The U.S. Department of Defense uses this process in order to meticulously ensure that information and material retain their integrity without revealing sources and methods. This documentation is what sets this footage apart from anything else that has made its way to the public domain, by establishing its authenticity and thereby giving it enormous historical significance.
Okay, and here we go. Here's the video itself. Action.
Dude, that is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing. It's rotating.
All right, so I chopped them down very, very much because it's a whole like 2-minute video, but I just chopped it down to about 30-45 seconds because that's the important part, right? So there's the they saw this thing on radar. They're talking about it on the radio, and or however the hell they communicate, and it's we've talked about this quite ad nauseum even, and it doesn't seem like these are professional aviators. They're not actually talking to each other across the comms there like you would expect. And so there's the first one. Here's the next one. This one is so that was a gimbal. This one's FLIR, and this just be 30-45 seconds. And I'll link all this stuff if you guys want to check it out if you haven't actually seen it. This is their actual YouTube channel, To The Stars Academy. Action. Okay, less impressive because there's no, whoa bro, it's a UFO. Here we go, here's part 3. And this is this one's called Go Fast. Anyway, yeah, this is leading somewhere. Bear with me 1 sec.
Nickel 6-1 Tango Project. Oh, got it! Woohoo! Roger, they're shooting as soon as I get did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly!
Okay, so there's the 3 videos, and so now these things are supposedly UFOs, right? They are like UAPs, they call them now. They're not UFOs anymore. That's old school. UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Now the crazy part about all this is this spawned a History Channel episode with Luis Elizondo, Tom DeLonge, the Gang of 5. I call them the 5 guys. I can remember because it's delicious. But these guys, To The Stars Academy, are, I don't know, what are they trying to push here? So that if you watch the actual the series itself, they were basically trying to tell us that there was some sort of threat. Like they kept bringing up military threat. They kept bringing up that you know, they were looking at our nukes and, you know, these old UFO tropes. They talked about Rendlesham Forest. It's like nothing new. And I think that's one of the things that sticks in my craw the most about all this is that there's nothing new, right? These 3 videos is basically all we got. And supposedly there was an internal UFO program that Lou Elizondo worked for, but we don't get anything new. All we get is this same old rubbish that we're always talking about, right? And it's Bigfoot and Rendlesham Forest, right? Like, no offense to those things, but you get it, right? Like, it's been discussed ad nauseum, and it's things that have been run into the ground, and that's what they were talking about in the series itself. Well, now check this out. So this is reported by thedrive.com, and the author here, it isn't Tyler Rogaway, which is one of the main guys from The Drive. It is Tim McMillan from the War Zone, and the headline is Area 51 veteran and CIA electronic warfare pioneer weigh in on Navy UFO encounters. And now these are old timers. These are guys that were active in intelligence in the Cold War, and they also worked at Area 51 with the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, and these sorts of things, right? So these were these are guys that have been around, and this is interesting. So despite all the attention from the media, and this is from the article, despite all the attention from the media and the general public for a man who's worked on some of the most highly classified aerospace programs in the world, all this new UFO talk isn't all that impressive. In fact, for T.D. Barnes, a former special projects engineer at Area 51, this entire UFO story sounds very familiar. Very familiar. So the UAPs with Tom DeLonge to the stars, this old-timer, no offense, God bless him, he's been around a long time, and he knows a lot of things. I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean that in a good way. He's seen a lot of things and has a lot of knowledge about this type of thing. So when I say it, it's positive, trust me. Okay, so now this is what he says. This is what he says straight from the article. And I'll link this in a sec, but here we go. Let's read this by Microsoft Mike.
This takes me back to circa the 1960s, when the CIA designed and was building the Mach 3812 Blackbird to replace the U-2, says Barnes. At the time, the CIA was gravely concerned that the Soviet Union's new P-14 Talking radar system would be able to detect the 812 flying over their airspace. To combat these concerns, the CIA launched an audacious program to develop technology that could electronically generate and interject false targets into the Soviet radars, to trick them seeing and tracking non-existent ghost aircraft. The project's codename was Palladium.
Hey, how about that? So Project Palladium would interject false targets into the Soviet radar. Right? Didn't we just see something similar? So they were picking these things up on radar with the FLIR, gimbal videos, all this, go fast, and they were like, woohoo, we got a UFO, bro, right? But we don't actually have visual on this, like an actual pilot looking out the window and saying, oh yeah, I saw it. It was this shape and it looked like that and had a little green man in there waving at me. Nothing like that. It's all radar signatures. Okay, so is this possibly like a ghost aircraft from the old Project Palladium? And remember, these guys worked through the Cold War, worked at Area 51, did the Lockheed A-12, the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71, this whole bit. They've worked with this stuff. So here we go. In 1960, when the Soviet Union moved to a Tall King radar system to Cuba, the CIA began covertly using Palladium to trick Russian air defense radars into thinking unidentified aircraft were flying towards and even into Cuban airspace. As one of the few members of the Palladium team, T.D. Barnes, served as the Air Defense Artillery and Electromagnetic Countermeasures Officer for the classified program. So this guy, they were actually sending these ghost, let's call them UFOs for lack of a better term, that would show up on Soviet and Cuban radar during the Cold War in the 60s. So using electronics-laden C-97, we can make Soviet radars believe they were tracking any number of aerial objects, mused Barnes. At one point, a Russian MiG-15 pilot even claimed he could see the target and had a lock on it. And so they're monitoring the communications. The Russian MiG-15 pilot says he could see it, and they knew it wasn't there. He was chasing a ghost because they had put that ghost on his radar. And what the hell, right? So if that's the case, maybe this is some sort of government program where they were testing it on our radar, right? And maybe didn't tell these pilots. Maybe the pilots already knew. Who knows, right? But it suddenly, just hearing this in this article from the drive.com, amazing site. Did I link this? I'm not sure I linked this. But yeah, like this is the type of stuff that we've kind of mused a little bit about. You know, maybe this could be some sort of government technology. Maybe this was some sort of hologram that had some sort of radar signature, like these sorts of things, right? It was some way to test how whatever the thing looked on our radar, right? Like we've talked about that, but now, so this was a Project Palladium. Now this was from the 60s. This is the Cold War. Ultimately, Palladium gave the United States forewarning that Russia's radar capabilities were advanced enough they would soon be able to track and shoot down the Blackbird surveillance planes. That would be the SR-71 Blackbird. As a result, no official crewed surveillance flights were ever conducted over Russia with the jet. When it comes to the more recent Navy UFO encounters, Barnes says, quote, I don't have the answers to what the Navy aviators saw, but in my mind, I'm thinking we are doing it again. On Project Palladium. Here's the individual, and this stuff is good. This stuff is good. Very long article. Again, the Warzone and the Drive.com. These guys do actual journalism, and they don't do like the clickbait picture and then like the 2 paragraphs and that's it. They go into the details about this stuff. They've talking to these guys that have been there, done that, and he's saying I don't have the particular specifics about this instance or these few instances. However, it sure seems like we've done this before, like we've played this game before. And yeah, crazy stuff. Let's see. We got a couple shout outs. What's up, Stephanie? Thanks for being here. We got Mark. Thanks for coming. We got Smiley. What's up, Aiden from California? Hello. We got Ryan says that we have crazy good tech. Imagine being 2,000 years ago seeing this and it's not a threat. Yeah, right. Todd says OpenEye Project does exist on Twitter. Well, there you go. Go find the OpenEye Project and find the good stuff. So Ryan says this was on RT. What's up, Dale? Thanks for being here. Diane, hello. And Tamron, hello. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so now this is the thing, right? So if we had the Project Palladium was the 60s, right? And it was a kind of a cover for the SR-71 for them to fly into Russian territory. And so they were using Project Palladium as kind of a interference, to run radar interference so that the spy planes way the hell up there could get through the radar, right? So it was kind of like a tandem type project. Here we go. So a source of contention among aviation and UFO enthusiasts, beyond Navy eyewitness accounts and the 3 brief targeting pod videos released by Tom DeLonge, of course, which you just watched in brief, and I'll link them if you want to see them again. No other data on the alleged UFO encounters have been made public. So basically, all we get is what we see and the claims about them. So Podiat was, that this is the other individual, however, able to offer some little-known details about Palladium that potentially hold significance to recent UFO reports. Quote, to determine Russia's ability to detect small targets, we used submarine-launched balloon-based metallic spheres, said Podiat. The idea was for the early warning radar to track our electronic aircraft, then for our submarine to surface and release the calibrated spheres up and into the path of the oncoming false aircraft. So I wonder, again, this is me speaking now, out of the quote, is this, does this whole Tom DeLonge thing reek of government disinformation somehow? Maybe they have, like we talked about those holograms that are done with polystyrene, and you can actually touch them, and maybe they do show up on radar with like the Battle of Los Angeles and these types of things. Who knows? Like these are the types of things that have been in play for a very long time. And so the article continues there. Though descriptions of balloon-based metallic spheres sound somewhat similar to eyewitness accounts of UFOs, Podiat explained that the different size spheres were used to detect Russia's radar cross-section detection capabilities, and not to try to fool the Soviet Union into thinking they were seeing a flying saucer. So it was this is crazy, right? So Project Palladium, I'd never heard of this. Pretty good stuff. So this ends. We'll get into more into Project Palladium as we go and take some calls, read some chat. But we got in the end of this. This is a very long article and very good stuff here. He ends. Quote, on NASA High Range and Area 51, I spent thousands of hours tracking aircraft. Though I tracked many that I could not identify, I never suspected them of being extraterrestrial. On these same projects, I worked with many test and operational pilots. I have never heard of one suspecting that they may have spotted a UFO. I believe a true extraterrestrial sighting would excite the world to the point that there would be millions of people leaving the city lights to stare at the heavens hoping to see whatever it is. That would be all the media would talk about. That said, I would like to think that there's we're not the only rock in the universe with life. Okay, but notably, the very first part, he says never in all those thousands and thousands of hours did he ever suspect anything of being extraterrestrial or hear any test pilots claiming these things. Okay, so is he the CIA more disinformation, or is this guy telling the truth? And if he's telling the truth, then what the hell are these things that we're seeing in the sky? What is everybody seeing in the sky? Is it all some sort of a disinformation campaign to try and hide where we're headed with whatever the technology of the future is, which we'll get to? So Project Palladium was the Cold War. It was a late 40s, 50s, and 60s, okay? Project Palladium. And they were able to put false radar signatures on people's, on the Soviets and the Cubans' radar in their planes, right? So false positives of planes or UFOs or whatever else. We'll talk about that a little bit. And so Ryan says it's all reverse tech. I can buy that. Let's see. Hello. What's up, Tamron? Is there a link for that? Which one? That article? Yeah, you got it. There's the link for that. Do check it out. So this is kind of made me go, wait a minute. So what if all of this stuff from the government? Yeah, Project Palladium. That's the one, Dale. So what if all this from the government is actually just a big disinformation thing, and all of it, literally, like let's say 95% of it, everything that comes out, they're leaked files from the FBI, Tom DeLonge, Lou Elizondo, like all these people. Let's even say that they planted people on the Art Bell show, things like this, right? Like when you have the government's resources, you can pay people to do all kinds of things, right? So possibly, I don't know. Like, is this? Yeah, this is nuts. This is crazy stuff. So yeah, Project Palladium. So let's look at a couple more things about Project Palladium here, and then we'll move on to a modern. There's very little about this because it's still a classified thing, but I was able to find some about a modern Project Palladium. But here we go. So let's do some of this. This is above top secret. This is a fantastic website. We've talked about them quite a bit in the past. And here you go. I'm dropping the link in there, and they talk about Project Palladium and some of the things that happened. And we'll read those real quick. So here we go. And let's see. Here we go. This is good. Let's throw this in with Microsoft Mic, and let me grab a beer. So this is explaining how they use Project Palladium and how this worked in a wartime environment. So this is a spring of 1945, and let's read this action.
In the spring of 1945, Allied forces in the Pacific were gathering for the last major assaults of the war. Allied ships were aware of the constant fear of attack from Japanese kamikaze bombers. As the invasion of Okinawa drew close, radar operators picked up 2, maybe 300 objects approaching the Allied fleet. The objects were traveling at impossible rates and much faster than the speed of sound. Navy interceptors were frantically launched into the air. But the enemy aircraft were nowhere to be seen. The blips on the Allied radar screens closed in over the fleet and then vanished. The men on the ship decks of the battle group and the pilots in the sky saw nothing but clear blue skies. The event became known as the Ghost of Nansei Shoto. Navy scientists believed that the close proximity of their ship's powerful radar had caused spoof radar signals, and also noted that the ability to control this phenomenon would be a very useful military tool.
Interesting. Navy interceptors were frantically launched into the air, but the enemy aircraft were nowhere to be seen. Hundreds of blips on radar, traveling at impossible rates and much faster than the speed of sound. Does that sound familiar? This is 1945. Does that sound familiar? Newsflash, it's 2019. So if they could do this then, and the Ghost of Nansei Shoto, what are they doing now? Is it Tom DeLonge, a CIA, working for the CIA? Is he on the CIA payroll? Crazy stuff. So Project Palladium was a CIA-NSA combined project designed to collect military intelligence data from Soviet aircraft, naval vessels, radar, and missile technology. The technology involved allowed the CIA to create ghost aircraft that the Soviets would pick up on their radar. This electronic trickery could create phantom objects of any shape or size, flying at any speed or altitude. Sounds like those Tic Tacs, doesn't it? The NSA, meanwhile, were responsible for monitoring the way in which the Soviets received and reacted to these spoof signals. So, what the hell, right? What the hell? Here's a good one. We'll read this one, and then we'll keep on rolling on some of these other articles, because there's some good stuff. And there seems to be a modern version of this Project Palladium. So despite the tense political situation of the, if everybody remembers the Cuban Missile Crisis with JFK, that's what they're talking about, the tense political situation. The opportunity to monitor the Russians from such a close proximity was too good to ignore. So they were bringing Russian missiles and planes and down there to Cuba because, this whole to-do. So Project Palladium was deployed on a Navy destroyer during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The objective was to confuse Cuban radar whilst the NSA would study how the Cubans and their Soviet military advisors responded. A CI team would create a radar ghost approaching Cuban airspace. Then a U.S. Navy submarine lying off the coast of Havana Bay would surface and launch different-sized metallic spheres as the ghost aircraft approached their position. Different-sized metallic spheres. This would in turn prompt the Soviets to activate their radar defenses. Then the NASA boys monitoring communications would be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the Soviet equipment. In one incident, a Cuban fighter pilot scrambled to intercept. Our friends at the CIA kept their ghost aircraft just beyond the range of the Cubans. Then, when the NSA team identified a Cuban pilot preparing to engage his weapons, they switched off the Palladium system. Which of course means that thing just disappeared. He no longer saw it on his radar, and they're chasing ghosts. They're chasing ghosts, and this is technology, right? So this is UFOs, Project Palladium, and the Cold War. And if this was happening in, let's say, 1945 from that one incident, now we're talking the 60s. Now what the hell's happening now? It seems like there's a lot here, a lot that kind of lines up, huh? So here we go. I did link that one. Here's another one, and we'll get into the modern day. What's happening now? All I could find anyway. It's got a new name. It's not called Project Palladium anymore. But maybe, right? So maybe, I'm not saying there's no aliens, but I'm saying that maybe the huge amount of alien reports that are coming out of the government and this disclosure project might be through the Tom DeLonge, to the stars, Lou Elizondo, this whole bit. This entire thing might just be a huge smokescreen to hide whatever technology they're using to maybe screw up the Russians or the Chinese or whoever it is, right? And I don't know. It seems plausible to me at this point. Anyway, okay, so let's see. This is another article talking about the same thing. I'm going to link this, and you guys can check it out. This is talking about the Drive article. So this is another take on that great article. So here we go. Link in this, and then let's go to the chat. And again, so this is live. If you have takes on this, what do you think? Do you think so? Based on just what you know, what you've seen right now, Project Palladium. We're talking World War II. We're talking the Cold War, and now it's 2019. How much has changed? Of course, they would be using this and trying to improve it the whole time. So, Tic Tacs is the new Project Palladium Tic Tacs. It could be. Okay, let's see. Dale says, did this come out from the Freedom of Information Act? I don't believe so. So I'll try and find that for you. Obviously not now, but this has been known. Like, people have talked about this for years. It's just funny how things kind of fall by the wayside, right? And when it comes to military intelligence type stuff, you just can't find it. Like, type in, and I challenge you, just go to Google, type in Project Palladium, and see what you get. And it seems like the as we know, the technocracy seems to bury this type of stuff. And of course, the UFO stuff rises to the top. We get Tom DeLonge with To the Stars, and every time they do something, it gets reported, right? You can find that easy. But then Project Palladium, you type it in, and you don't. And in many search engines, not just Google, other ones. I tried DuckDuckGo. It was tough to find this stuff. And so the point is that they kind of bury this military specialty type stuff because they don't want I guess they don't want to be common knowledge. Yeah, I mean, we're paying for it, but we can't know about it. What's up, Majestica? Thanks for showing up. I see you there on YouTube. Let's see. Dale says, is this leaked disclosure, Mike, for the secret agenda? It could be, right? Or it could be disinformation disclosure. So maybe there's a real thing going on, like a real alien disclosure that they're not disclosing, that they should be, but it's a faked, leaked disclosure that's covering whatever the hell they're doing with these Tic Tac things that could be military intelligence and military technology. So, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy stuff. All right, let's see. Tamron says, but this is something we all know. The government has crazy advanced technology and only gives us the scraps when it becomes old and obsolete to them. That's true, except they're calling it UFOs. And so there's remember Tom DeLonge, the alien metamaterial. They've actually come out and said that there are UFOs. So it seems a very non-government type thing to do and say. Is kind of my point here. So because they've dragged their feet and covered it up, and that's the whole conspiracy. So if there are aliens and there was a Roswell crash, we should have known it a long time ago. But they've never admitted to it. They've never owned up to it. There are documents. There are newspaper reports. There are whistleblowers. There are eyewitness accounts. There are tons of things that corroborate the story, except the government still says it was a weather balloon. That's the official story still. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, so on to, where are we at on time? It is, we're good. Okay, so on to the new, here's T.D. Barnes, actually. So here's the guy that was in the other one. And here's topsecretwriters.com. And this is the Cuban pilots chasing the UFOs. And here, I'm going to link in this, and you guys can check this out. So yeah, you were completely right there, Tamron. But I guess the question is, and the tangled spider web, and it becomes, how much of this is actual disclosure, and how much of this is disinformation from like the CIA and from these shadow agencies and agents that work for them, which would be Lou Elizondo, in my opinion. Lou, if you're listening, Mark says you can look a lot of stuff up on the dark web. Yeah, yeah, all right. I don't know what that means. The dark web is frightening, I guess, or something. I don't know. Yeah, if you can find it, let me know. Project Palladium. I'd love to know what you guys can find about that. Just in a cursory manner. This is not a book report. So Majestica says it is military. When the UFO hovered long time close and level to my window one night, I was guided by my intuition that it was not aliens, but the military. And I could be wrong, but the aliens, they may have controlled my thoughts. Well, I see. So the aliens may have made you think it was the government. And maybe vice versa, right? Maybe the government made you think it was aliens. So, well, what's up, Smiley? How you doing? Okay, so here we go. One more, topsecretwriters.com. Very good stuff. Check this out. Now, this is what they did. Let's see. Did we already cover this? Simulating aircraft, anti-radar cross-section. Yep, we already did. We have no trouble. Here we go. Nope, we already talked about that. Okay, so the ghost aircraft and the Palladium were not true UFOs. They were certainly unidentified to the Cuban fighter pilots. Later, this technique of tricking enemy radar would be called radar spoofing. Many UFO skeptics refer to radar spoofing and Project Palladium, along with the possibility of earlier prototypes and later advancements, which we're about to talk about, the later advancements, as the explanation behind most of the UFO sightings where radar is involved. Okay, which would be, again, back to the Battle of Los Angeles, right? That thing that floated into LA, they lit it up and they couldn't hit it, and then it floated away. Yeah, so there's tons of stuff that I think if you go back, you can find a lot of things that kind of fit this narrative of there's something up there, it shows up on radar, and it's ethereal, it's ghostly, and and then it disappears. So yeah, definitely. Here we go, and then here's one more. I'm going to link on Palladium and how they tested the Soviet radars, and then we're going to get to the new one. The new one is called, what is it called? There we go, link. Okay, so Tales Through Time, aviationtrivia.blogspot.com with pretty good stuff. And see, this is what you got to find. You got to find little sites like this that talk about Project Palladium. Otherwise, it's gone. You probably have to delve into the archives at the wherever it is. Okay, so now I want to point out, this is the guy in the original article, T.D. Barnes, and he was talking about working at, well, let's just see what he says. I'm going to link this video and make sure we're full screen, and let's see what this guy says about what he was doing. And so he was the individual that worked on Project Palladium. He was running the interference of these radar signatures that would fool the enemy, or the adversary, right? No enemies, the adversary, let's say. Okay, action.
But that's the first time I worked for Dr. Bud Whelan with the CIA, and who incidentally was the head of the Oxcart program later at Area 51. But make a long story short, I got out of the service. I got disabled and got injured, and it ruined my military career. So I had all this electronics experience. So NASA grabbed me for the NASA high range, tracking the X-15, the XB-70, with developing the lunar landing vehicles. We had what we call the lifting bodies. That was the prototypes for the space shuttle. All of this was going on in the 60s. Plus, we started tracking the YF-12. I participated in the speed run that Bob talked about, and tracking the X-15, we had the capability of recording velocity where most radar stations don't necessarily have that. They don't care. They just want to know where you're at, and so they can hit you, track you. So I started getting calls from the agency. They didn't say where they called it from. They didn't say what I was going to be tracking, but they said, we got a plane we want you to track and record the velocity, and don't let anyone know what you're doing. You lock the doors to the room, go in and track it, bundle it up, and we'll come pick it up, and that was the end of the story. They didn't tell me what was tracking. But
okay, so he didn't even know what he was looking at. They're like, hey, we need to see if you can track this. You can tell us, blah, blah, whatever. He didn't know if it was a plane. He didn't know if it was it was one of these spoof things that he was trying to, like, they were testing him on his own system. Who knows? And so he's talking about Project Oxcart. That's one I didn't look into too much. I found this video kind of near the end, just before the show started. But this is the guy. This is T.D. Barnes, and he's at the Atomic Testing Museum, which I believe is here in Las Vegas. And this is C-SPAN. This is an old video here, but you see what he's talking about? And notice he said that the individual that he was working for was the main guy at Area 51. So there's that whole mythology, right? So if Area 51 has that link to extraterrestrials and the Roswell crash and this whole bit, right? If there's some sort of link there, and this individual is saying that, yeah, my boss was basically the guy at Area 51, and he was working on that facility, then, like, well, what's actually happening here? And so we have, interestingly, even back then, you have Roswell, you have Area 51, you have these things that are kind of linked together in the mythology of the UFOlogy, and then you have this guy that was there on the ground, on the base, doing other things that he claims, of course. He's not saying that he was reverse engineering UFOs, like Bob Lazar said. He even said in that the article that he didn't think anything was ever a UFO, because he was used to tracking things that were that seemed to be non-terrestrial, that seemed to be so fast they couldn't be airplanes. These were the types of things he was doing and tracking on a daily basis. And they're trying to test him on to see if he could track it. So what kind of stuff did they have? What kind of stuff were they doing? I don't know. That's crazy. Okay, so now Project Palladium, Project Oxcart. We'll look into Oxcart at another time. You guys can check it out. Let's see. Dale says, but they love us. They wouldn't deceive us. Are you kidding? Hey, man, as long as you're paying the taxes, they don't give a damn. They'll tell you whatever they want. Christian, what's up? Hey, this is awesome. This is intense. I believe it. Yeah, maybe. I mean, look it up. Project Palladium, Project Oxcart. It's there. It's in history. It is a thing. It's a thing. I don't think that somebody's making this up. I think this is one of those things that kind of leaked out that they want us to forget. And so I think that's why talking about it is important. What's up, Majestica? Trigger Happy J, thanks for being here. It says, oh, hell yeah, I reached 100 subs without having any videos. How the hell did you do that? How the hell did you do that? Yeah, teach me your ways. Okay, let's see. Dale says, hey, I have an idea. Let's storm that place. That's a hell of an idea, Dale. Or maybe we'll just turn it into an alien festival, and we'll bring our guitars and we'll sing Kumbaya on the night. Yeah, with the coyotes. Yeah, you never know. You never know. That's a hell of an idea, though. Okay, so now back to the drive.com. All right. Now there's a, check this out. There's the name. This is another very long drive.com article. And you can't find much on this at all either. But this seems to be the whatever came after Oxcart and Palladium. Okay. So this is the drive.com. Here, let's make sure we're full screen. And it's okay. So the Navy's secretive and revolutionary program to project false fleets from drone swarms. Okay, catch that one more time. The Navy's secretive and revolutionary program to project false fleets from drone swarms. The Advanced Electronic Warfare Program uses swarms on the air and sea to cooperatively fool a wide variety of sensors dispersed over a large area. And again, this is a huge, long article, and I'm not going to read all this because it just takes too damn long and it'd be like 2 hours by itself. But there's a ton of good information in here, including the name of the project. Yeah. So it was Palladium, Oxcart, and now the current version is called, where is it? Oh, come on. It's down here. See, it's halfway. NEMESIS. It's called NEMESIS. There's little publicly available information surrounding NEMESIS aside from these unclassified budgetary documents and a few publications and presentations that mention the program, usually to a very limited degree. Search it. NEMESIS. Project NEMESIS. and cloaking or fake UFOs or whatever it is. Right there in the top. I'm going to read that one more time. The Advanced Electronic Warfare Program uses swarms in the air and sea to cooperatively fool a wide variety of sensors dispersed over a large area, and a revolutionary program to protect false fleets from drone swarms. So basically, they're launching these little balloons into the air. And here we go. Let's see. Let's do. Should we do Microsoft Mic? And let me grab a beer. Let's do that. So this is a NEMESIS. Is not just some paper program from publicly available but obscure documents. We've collected it. It's clear that, here we go, for years, Microsoft Mike is going to read this, and I'm going to grab a beer. But here we go. The show continues. Nobody fret. Action.
For years, the Navy has been developing and integrating multiple types of unmanned vehicles, shipboard and submarine systems, countermeasures and electronic warfare payloads, and communication technologies to give it the ability to project what is, in essence, phantom fleets of aircraft, ships, and submarines. These realistic-looking false signatures and decoys have the ability to appear seamlessly across disparate and geographically separated enemy sensor systems located both above and below the ocean's surface. As a result, this networked and cooperative electronic warfare concept brings an unprecedented level of guileful fidelity to the fight. It's not just about disrupting the enemy's capabilities or confusing them at a command and control level, but also about making their sensors tell them the same falsehoods across large swathes of the battle space.
Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like maybe that's something that we're testing on Tom DeLonge and his crew? He's the disinformation agent. He is Richard Doty, and he doesn't know it. Or maybe he does know it, and he's just like a big rube. I have no idea. But this is the new one. This is the new version of Palladium and Oxcart. It is called, what is this called? I knew it. I just had it. This is called, so I got so giddy to drink the beer. NEMESIS. That's the name of it. So again, if you guys are into this stuff, I highly recommend you read these articles. Very good stuff from thedrive.com. And this one, I think this one is written by Tyler Rogoway. He's the main guy. Nope, this is Brett Tingley. So a lot of smart guys that actually follow this stuff and maybe have insider information because, like I said, go ahead and search that. Go ahead and search it. I can barely find it in this damn article. But if you search anything else, Project NEMESIS, I really doubt it shows up because they can only barely find it in these budgetary documents, and it's kind of whispered on what it does. So here we go. So according to the same ONR presentation, NEMESIS consisted of modular and reconfigurable EW payloads, including decoy and unmanned air and surface platforms based on the ONR's science and technology and future naval capabilities programs. NEMESIS combined functionality and capabilities from Code 31, which would be information, cyber, and spectrum superiority, Code 33, mission-capable, persistent, and survivable naval platforms, and Code 35, which is aviation force projection and integrated defense. Project NEMESIS. So they're still doing this. And this is one that's, again, search it, you won't find it. You'll only find it right here on thedrive.com, basically, because they don't know, or it's classified, it's top secret. It's not something that's out there yet. And so if this is, again, imagine if this leaked a little bit, and you can barely find this, and we're talking about this tonight, but imagine the stuff that is one step better than this, or two steps better than this. Like, what is DARPA working on? Like, there's some stuff that we'll never know, and I truly believe that. But this is NEMESIS, and here's some depictions of what it does and how it fools radars into thinking that, so that they can basically show an enemy radar, an adversary radar. I keep saying enemy. We're not enemies. Can't we all just get along? But an adversary's radar to not just show one or two or three, but an entire fleet of things. And isn't that what they saw in those the Nimitz incident? It was not just one; it was a fleet of them, if you recall. So kind of some curious stuff that lines up, and maybe they were testing this technology on our pilots to see if they would actually be able to track this stuff or whatever else. Dan, what's up? Says Swamp Gas. Swamp Gas. Christian says there's always truth to every myth, right? Yeah, I think so. I agree with you 100%. There's some truth in there, even if it's a bunch of hogwash. Let's see. Ryan says what they need is holographic ships. I think that's what these are, that somehow appear on radar. I think that's what we're looking at. And yeah, and Dale says drone squirts. I don't think I said that. Did I say that? If I said that, then maybe, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's see. More chat. Trigger happy. I'm from LA. All right. Let's see. Can't believe people wonder why they have to keep secrets. You mean the military? Yeah. I mean, well, because then China would just steal them. That's why you have to keep secrets. Trigger Happy says, Mike, I don't know why people started following me. I guess it's a combination of how strange my account is with my bio picture. Hey, well, you got like big biceps or something? Yeah, okay. Anyway, teach me how to get followers on YouTube without doing videos. But I enjoy doing the videos, so never mind. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Good on you. Okay, so Nemesis, right? This is the new one. So we had Palladium, Oxcart, Nemesis, and here's some other stuff. And let me play this video. So they supposedly play these locust drones. So let's the low-cost unmanned area vehicle swarming technology. The Locust, LOCUST, is a prototype tube-launched UAV. The Locust program will make possible the launch of multiple swarming UAVs to autonomously overwhelm an adversary. You catch that? Multiple swarming UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicle is what UAV is, to autonomously overwhelm an adversary. And so, of course, that wouldn't be to, get them by force. It would be to fool them with what they should actually be shooting when there's a bunch of decoys in the air here. So let's take a look at this and see what this looks like. I'll link it and action. This is from the Office of Naval Research, Science and Technology, and it's been approved for public release. Yes, public release. There we go. Linking it if you guys want to check it out. And this is actually one of those YouTube videos that's not it's not public. You have to have the direct link to find it. So here we go. All right, so these appear to be some sort of like launchers that are kind of stationed on ships, or they're stationed on vehicles or trailers, and they're going to show you what they do here and how they launch. And so what these are is you're going to see how small they are, and they kind of get launched out of like a UAS swarm launch. And here it goes. Okay, now that doesn't look impressive in and of itself. It looks like it's kind of lobbing stuff into the air, right? But check this out. It continues. Okay, in the slow motion, and so they launch this thing, and it appears to be like if something breaks off the launcher part of it, and then the thing unfolds into these drones, and so what these things appear to be weapons, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. They're some sort of like swarming device that will overwhelm the enemy, right? And that's what these things are. And here's a group formation, so they can communicate together. They can move in. There you go. They can move in little fleets. And they're just basically like the military equivalent of like paper planes. And you shoot them out there. These things are tiny. They're autonomous. You can program them to be go wherever they want to go, wherever you want them to go, and they do it. And so they're not really airplanes, but they do show up on radar. And they're really no threat. But then when an actual plane comes into radar, and you have like, let's say 75 of these in the sky, you can't identify the plane. So radar-wise, anyway. So okay, there we go. There's a Locust and crazy stuff, right? So Nemesis, Palladium, Oxcart. Where are we at? Let's see. Dan says the higher power is supposed to have tech 50 years ahead of ours. Trickle down effect. Well, yeah, that's what they say about DARPA. So that's kind of my point. So if they're doing this now with this type of stuff, right, and it's public, like we just watched a video, we just read some stuff. We talked about Palladium, Oxcart, and now Nemesis, Project Nemesis. Again, look up Project Nemesis. I defy you to find it. I don't think you'll be able to find it. So it's this is like a cutting edge type stuff supposedly, and it's just kind of leaking to the public supposedly. And like I said, everything we get, the information we get, is all supposedly, and I think that's the problem here. So here we go. Here's another tube where they're kind of launching these little autonomous drones from the deck of a ship here, and so there's no actual these things launching. They only have stills. But here we go. So the Nomad is a netted off-board miniature active decoy. It's 3 feet long and sits in a tube with its pair of spring-loaded rotors folded into its sides when not in use. Once it's time to take to the air, a blast of compressed carbon dioxide shoots it out of the tube, at which point the rotors pop out and start spinning in opposite directions. The UAV can then fly in any direction or hover on the spot, landing vertically on a set of 4 legs when the mission is completed. So you see, and given that the Nomad's patent was made public on October 4th, this is this year, the Department of Defense's TechLink office is now looking for businesses that may be interested in licensing the technology, perhaps even with an eye towards manufacturing a civilian version of the drone that can be equipped with sensors and or top-mounted camera. And so this is brand new. So if they just release this to the public, then where are they? Where are the things they're not? They're not. Yeah, exactly. Dale says high-tech spud launchers. It seems like it, right? But these things are supposed to be like radar fakes. I don't know what's a good term for it. I don't know. This stuff drives me nuts because again, right? So back to the UFOs, back to Tom DeLonge, so back to all of that, and those initial UAP videos of the Tic Tacs, of the Nimitz incident, of Gimbal Go Fast, all that stuff, right? Remember that. So what did they see? Was there some sort of military test that we did on our own pilots and they knew it, and that's why they were so casual about, whoa, bro, it's a UFO. Remember all that? It was right there in the damn videos. It didn't seem proper for naval aviators to be talking like this when they probably, if it was a real UFO, they should be shitting their pants, right? They're like, wow, this thing's moving in ways I've never seen anything move, and I may have to fight this thing. This thing may be hostile. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like there's so much about all of this that just seems upside down that the narrative is tough to swallow, and that's what they tell us. These are the things that we're supposed to buy, and they got another History Channel season out of it, Unidentified season 2 coming to the History Channel next year or this year. Yeah, Dan says, so what do they have that we don't know about it? That's a hell of a question. That's a hell of a question, and those are the speculative things, right? Those are what we can tinfoil hat all day about, and I don't know. That's a good question, man. If you have any ideas, let me know. Dale says, "Hey, Mike, is Elon Musk intentionally blocking astronomers? Would you know?" Elon, why would he be doing that? That's a good question. Blocking them from what? From maybe he's got like a secret space program that he's trying to block, or do you mean with all those little drones he's throwing into orbit? I'm not sure what you mean. Clarify, and I'll answer you there. Okay, so let's see. Chat. Tom over here exposing stuff we already known about for years. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what's going on. Thanks, Tom. Thanks to the stars. You guys are the best. All right, so what do you guys think? Is it basically, and like I see this, and it ties very heavily into the Tic Tac stuff. And the Tic Tac stuff ties very heavily into To the Stars, Tom DeLonge, and that whole bit. And that whole bit, they're trying to say is aliens, and it's hostile, right? If you don't believe me, go back and watch Unidentified on the History Channel, the first season, and they stress over and over again that these things are hostile. They're a national security threat. They're a threat to people at large. They're a threat to humanity. They're a threat. It just comes up over and over again. And so that's what I mean, right? It's almost like it's like a propaganda video where they're trying to maybe increase the defense budget, right? For the contractors. Maybe it's I don't know. You kind of get the point, right? It seems like it might be propaganda. What's up, Martin from Sweden? How you doing? My island. Thanks for showing up, man. I know you can only catch the end, but we're at the end. We got 10 or 15 minutes here. So let me know what you guys think. This is the end of this one, and I think I'll lay off Tom DeLonge for a little while because we've been beating on him like a dead horse here. Like he's the party pinata. We're not going to do that, but we'll do some other stuff coming up. But what do you think? Do you think this is one of those situations where we have a very clear narrative where you can say, okay, we have technology from World War II, the Cold War. You can trace the names of these projects to the SR-71 Blackbird, the U-2 spy plane, Area 51, like all this stuff can be traced in military documents and pilots' testimonies and all these things, right? Like all this stuff is very well documented now. But if we were trying to fool radar signatures then, why wouldn't we be doing that next level now? And that's kind of my question here. So imagine we live in a world where it's like this. the information that they're giving us is false, all right? And they're saying these are UFOs, and the government came out and said it. They basically said we don't know what these are, right? And which is very ungovernment-like, right? We can agree with that because they spent so many decades trying to cover this stuff up. The actual Project Blue Book and the whole bit, right? There's a huge cover-up for sure on the information. Now, if that's the case, why do we have this information kind of bouncing back and forth with we have like this half-assed disclosure talking about Rendlesham Forest, with Tom DeLonge talking about these Tic Tacs and like warp propulsion and all this other stuff, but they can't do it without any money. They need money, right? Go to their website, donate button, bam, front and center. Crazy. All right, thanks Fred, thanks for showing up. Martin, what's up? Yeah, good night. Thanks for showing up. Let's see. Trigger Happy, the dude that used to sing Blink-182. Yeah, that guy. Tom DeLonge, that guy. That exact guy. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like there's something suspicious here. Do we have one more thing we can talk about? There's another thing I can link this in here. But so, it sure seems like something's wrong here. Like something doesn't add up. I think that's what bothers me the most about all this. It seems to be like some sort of military project instead. Like I said, Palladium, Oxcart, and now NEMESIS. Those are the three projects that we can trace that are actively using decoys of sorts to throw off radar signatures. So if we're using, and it's been declassified in some sense, actual little balloons or little drones that have like maybe radar beacons on them to appear larger than they are, like that seems pretty mundane, but that's what they were doing back in the day, right? So there's something else going on here, something very, very suspicious, something very fishy, and that's what I think about this. So we'll again follow up on this if any new information comes out. But I'm just kind of sick of Tom DeLonge. I'm sick of talking about these guys, and they seem to rule the UFO roost at this point. The Jeremy Corbells and these guys. It seems like that you have to go through them, right? They're like the gatekeepers now, the new school of UFOlogy. And it seems to me that it seems suspicious. It seems like the George Knapps, right? The Bob Bigelows. Like all this information is filtered through these guys. And yeah, anyway, we're here to speculate. That's what we do. And that's what this is all about. Tamron says, who's the guy who sang in Smashing Pumpkins? That's Billy Corgan. And he's got a story about reptilians. Let me find that real quick. Thanks for bringing him up. Let me see if there's something I can play real quick. We got a video. I'm going to find that. Hold on. I pulled this up. I actually have this clip. I might have a clip. Hold on. I might have a clip of Billy Corgan talking about reptilians since you brought up Smashing Pumpkins. Because, yeah, let's see. Hold on. I clipped this out for one of the shows that we did back in the day, but we didn't make it. Frank had so much information that we didn't get to play this clip, but I have it here somewhere. Let me find it. Bear with me just a sec. This is too good. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's see, where do we got? Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, he's got a story about an actual reptilian alien. Or, no, a shapeshifter, I believe is what it is. I believe that's what it is. So let me find this. Damn it, I can't find it. Okay, there's too many files on this damn thing. Okay, so, let's see. Paul, you gonna call? Still waiting for you to call? Okay, any thoughts on this stuff? I will find that Billy Corgan clip because it's too amazing. But let me know. What do you think about this? Am I off base here? Do you think I'm nuts? Do you think that this is UFOs, Mike? Get over it. It's UFOs. They're here. They're going to do whatever they do. And, listen to Tom DeLonge. He's the church of UFOlogy and get used to it. So, yeah, I mean, I just, yeah, no. Here we go. All right, looking for Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan. Actual, you've seen a human shapeshifter reptilian of some sort. Let's see, where is it? Come on, this is too good. Okay, there we go. All right, let's watch this. Let's see if this is the one. Oh, damn it! They always some dick like me always talking about it. I want the actual clip. Okay, so Billy Corgan, shapeshifter, Howard Stern. That's where I saw it. That's why, because it's all that stuff is it's all paywalled or whatever. Here we go. All right, this is it. All right, this is too good. Thanks for bringing this up. I wanted to play this a while back, but we're going to watch this right freaking now.
By the way, my friend, you made major news the last time you were here. Did you realize that?
About the alien, the shapeshifter.
Yeah, you dropped a bombshell. Every paper picked it up.
Let's just say I was with somebody once, and I saw a transformation that I can't explain.
The person transformed into something other than human.
Yes, I saw it.
You were talking to someone. They said to you, "Look, something's going to happen here. I'm going to morph into something else."
Imagine you're doing something, and suddenly you turn around, and there's somebody else standing there.
You still standing by it?
Absolutely. I know it happened. In fact, it happened twice. And on top of that, what's amazing is we live in a world where, look, I've been in public life on some level for 30 years.
Yep.
People treat it as if I'm
crazy. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm here to say, like, now maybe I had a hallucination, but I saw what I saw.
Right. You saw it. It's your reality.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, to question somebody's reality is a strange thing.
The second time you saw a shapeshifter, where were you? Probably at Darcy's house.
It was the same. It was the same person.
Oh, it was.
This happened with the same person twice.
Billy, when will you announce who this person is so I can investigate? Seriously.
I wouldn't name names.
But it's a famous person, right?
I wish it was somebody famous.
Yeah, because then that would be awesome.
Well, think of the book sale.
It was like Justin Bieber.
If you release their name, they will be famous. They're shapeshifters.
If I told you in private the story, could you keep my confidence?
Yes.
All right.
Now, here's the good thing about telling me something. Within a minute, I forget, because I think everything is nonsense.
I will tell you the story.
You will?
Yeah. And I will say...
Go ahead.
Okay, that's why you couldn't find it on YouTube. So it's so there it is. That's what I was talking about. There's the Billy Corgan. So that's Smashing Pumpkins Billy Corgan. So he's talking about he was intimate with a person. Is how the story goes, and he turned around and then turned back around, and they were no longer the person he was with. They were now somebody else or something else, and shapeshifter. If you guys hadn't heard that, no, now you have. Yes, okay, all right. So we're at the end of this, but basically, I think the question that I have to ask myself after all this, after Oxcart, Palladium, and now NEMESIS, and these fake radar signatures, and the rest of this stuff is that how much of this is tied into disinformation campaigns? How much of this is possibly done through TTSA and Lou Elizondo and this type of thing, and how would we ever be able to tell the difference without seeing that radar data? I think that's the thing. And yeah, thanks Tim and for bringing him up. I had that clip ready to go back in the day. We never played it, but there it is. Okay, so we're at the end. If you guys want to be on the show, we got a couple minutes left. I still got about half a beer to drink, so I'm in no hurry here. We're just kicking it, and do call 702-957-1037. What do you think about this stuff tonight? What do you think about the UFO Disclosure Project and the government, and what do you think about UFOs in general? Do you think for the most part they're a bunch of hooey? Or a bunch of disinformation, and there's the real stuff is what they're trying to cover by this other disinformation, right? With the data dumping, you put up so much info out there, you can't really pick the needle out of the haystack of what's real because there's so much phony crap out there. I have no idea. Dale says microdot will do that. Will it? I don't know anything about that. Tamron says, grief, that is a bit frightening. Yeah, the shapeshifter, that's crazy. Smiley What's Up says, this is true. All this is true. Maybe, I'm not sure which part is true. Something's true. I think that's the thing, but the elusive truth is probably where we're at right now, and at least where I'm at. I don't. The more I look into this stuff, the more it seems like there's no answers, and it seems like there's always ties back to the military, to the governments, and these sorts of things. Like they're actually trying to fool us. Let's see. Majestica says, I hope I never see them if there's people with scales, and then they don't change. They projected that image of what they wanted you to see straight to your mind. Okay, so you're saying that Billy Corgan didn't actually see, it was the same person or the same whatever, and he, for whatever reason, turned around and they projected the new image into his brain. And so, okay, I can buy that. Because, human brains, easily manipulated, all that. Paul says, hi Mike, sorry for the delay, I might have to call next time. I'm trying to get a break in between the trains coming. Okay, no problem. It's no sweat, man. So we're here for you, so call whenever. And now you're on the Discord, so you know how to do it. So if you guys haven't joined the Discord, there's a lot of good discussion goes on there. Do check it out. Probably most of you here that are still here, and after the long show, if you're still here, you're probably in the Discord, so probably preaching to the choir here. But I'm dropping the links if you haven't done it. Please join it, and a lot of good people in there. Basically, if something happens and we get taken down on social media, you can find us on troubledminds.org or go to Discord. That's probably where the information is going to come from, and where we ended up. So there it is, and we're at the end of this. So also, what kind of shows do you want to see in the future? Do you want more like aliens, like reptilians, and like get into that Russian book of which is kind of weak, by the way, but we can go through it. You want to? There's actually these really long and detailed books about cryptids and some stories that go along with them. Like there's tons of really, really good stuff that we can talk about. But what do you guys want to talk about? I think that's the question here. I'd put up a poll, but I'm not prepared, and yeah. So I'm not gonna. But if you do want to suggest a show, jump on Discord. Send me an email, troubledmindsradio@gmail.com. I'm easy to reach. You can call me. That number, 702-957-1037. It's persistent. It's right there on the screen. So you can call and leave a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show as long as... when you do call that, just don't say, hey, I'm Jimmy Roberts from wherever, and here's my phone number. Like, don't say those things. Just give me a first name and say I'm calling because of this reason, because then I don't have to chop it up and censor your phone number and stuff. So just leave that. Again, persistent number. Join the Discord. I'm easy to find. I'll be here Tuesday night. I'll be here Friday night, and hopefully we'll add some days as we go. Lots of good things to talk about, and there you go. All right, Tamron, thank you. Get the day started. Let's do it. Let's get the day started. Let's get the night started for the night owls, and that's what the show's about. Is about questioning all the things, the narratives they tell us. And is Tom DeLonge Richard Doty? That's what I want to know. In the end, that's what I want to know. Oh, no, Todd's out of beer. That's tragic. I got some more. I'm good. I'm in good shape. Okay, so, all right, we're going to end this. So if you guys want to be on the show, you know what to do. A couple more minutes, and otherwise, we're done. We're done here. We are done here. Thank you, Majestica. Thanks for hanging out. Everybody who's still here, you guys are amazing. Like I said, I know this is a lot. I know it's a lot of information. I know that sometimes it's not even the most fun to kind of sit through because it's a lot. Like maybe you're not really into hearing about the particular thing I'm talking about in this moment, and that's fine. We got an archive for you if you want to go back and listen, or if you tune out, that's fine. But you guys are still here. It's a long show. I appreciate that a lot. That means I'm not talking to myself, and it makes these things a lot easier. So there we go. There we go. At the end, oh, we got some good outro music. So we got a new intro. If you guys didn't see the new intro, check it out. It's pretty good stuff. It's a nice video, my humble opinion. Check it out. We got some, and it's got the normal intro music, but we got some outro music. Let's play this. Let's play this and see how this rolls. Yeah, that's right. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. And I'm your host, Michael Strange. So we'll be back on Friday night, and hopefully with some more good music, and with some more good intros and some more good topics to talk about. Okay, so if you do want to request a show, join the Discord. The link is now live on troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Tell your friends about the show. Do all the things, thumbs ups, and leave the comments. It helps the algorithms and helps us avoid the technocratic downvote. Helps us avoid the shadow bans, these sorts of things. So we can overcome it, but yeah. What's up, Gibby? Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate that. Gibby says you're doing great, Meg. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, Dale, later. Smiley, thanks for showing up. Troubledminds.org, Smiley. Troubledminds.org. That's where you can find the website. I'm digging the music. Okay, there we go. There we go. At the end of this, one more time. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio, and I'm your host, Michael Strange. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the input. Thanks for participating. From my troubled mind to yours, have a great night.